thing youth have versus a right thing youth have to think or to do. This becomes an ongoing dilemma or paradox in terms of helping youth. When it comes to helping youth and adolescents, we focus on you have to do this. When they do something wrong, you should not do this, but you should do that instead. And in this process, in doing this, we miss one important aspect. What important aspect? We miss understanding the reason behind why they are doing this. No one is inherently bad. No one just manifests any behavior just because they want to do so, even if they say so. But there is an underlying reason that is the root cause. So we need to, that's why we went through understanding developmental changes, because the developmental changes in the youth, they have the ability to change them. They have the ability to even change their behavior. They are not comfortable with their growth hormones and mind and the social media and all the different aspects that are happening outside. So we want to understand their needs first, as opposed they have to be doing this, and if they don't do this, there is something wrong with what they are doing. So our focus is to go a little bit deeper, to understand what are their needs, to understand them and their needs, and what are the underlying reasons that make them manifest a certain behavior, so that when it comes the time to really intervene and maybe help or suggest something, we are doing it from a well-informed perspective. I think we did the cognitive and moral perspective, the biological development of the brain. I think we did, this was the last thing that we did in the last session. And some of what we came out with is that youth brain is still developing until mid-20s. And this is the main reason they fluctuate. These are some of the outcome of the sessions that we came out with. We are feeling creatures who think. Biologically, cognition develops after emotional components in the brain. Each encounter that we have with the youth is an opportunity to be an active component to shape them in their growth. Every encounter with teenagers, with adolescents, is changing, results in change. This happens for us as adults, and more so in adolescence, because their brain development, their biological development is still very active. If adults we say that they have completely grown, the one thing that continues to change and grow is the what? Which aspect, which organ in us? The glands. Which aspect? We have mid-20s development biologically complete. But, yes, but which organ? The brain. The brain continues to change. The brain continues to change. And those who study neuroscience, they discover what's called neuroplasticity of the brain, which means that the brain itself changes. Whenever we are exposed to a negative experience, the brain changes. Yes, a teenage could go through a trauma, like an event that could be traumatizing, and this is significant. And it leaves a big mark in their lives. Does this mean that adults do not experience trauma? They do. Maybe not the same intensity, and it could be more. I mean, we cannot just rule out, but still adults experience trauma. What does experience which organ experiences the trauma in us? The brain. And after the brain, it impacts the entire body and everything. That's why every encounter with the adolescents is we call it transforming encounter. It's an encounter that has the ability to transform adolescents, either one step positive or one step negative. So this is the power that in when it comes to helping. That's why we pay attention to how we need to help them in the right way. So we're going to be talking today about foundational skills dealing with adolescents, helping adolescents. They have needs and needs to be fulfilled. So the need to be helped, it's a need. And how do we go about this? We believe that God and His Holy Spirit is actively engaged in our lives with each and every one, and also human assistance. In the time of the apostles, what was happening? All the apostles developed a community initiatives with the objective of helping one another. Everyone who has needs, they go to the apostles to be helped. And everyone who has ability to give and to serve, they went to the apostles and said, we have the ability to help with this capacity, with that capacity, with this capacity, or with that capacity. So, and God uses us. And this is what the Bible is telling us. What profit is it if I find my brother or my sister hungry or naked, and I go and tell them, the Lord be with you, the Lord will provide for you, go in peace? What help is this? Then God has put me in an area where I need to assess how can I help this person. It doesn't mean that I always have to give money, no, but what type of help can we give, can we provide for someone in need? Jesus said, I was hungry and you fed me. And people ask, when did this happen? Or said, whatever you have done to the least, you have done it to me. So we are in the vocation, in the ministry of helping others. So we are the hands of God. So we depend on the hands of God with us, and we depend on the hands of God with the people whom we are helping, and God to use us to help, and the power of the Holy Spirit and the hand of God is the one really is doing the real work. Have you seen the new Maslow's hierarchy? You know Maslow's pyramid? Have you seen the new one? You know that they have introduced a new change? There is one more, you know, it starts with the basic needs. What's the basic need? This is the biggest. Safety. What is the new Maslow's hierarchy? Can you guess what has been added? Now this is more basic. to adolescents, don't give them food, but give them Wi-Fi. If you take out Wi-Fi, this is taking their life. Okay, so this is supposed to be like a funny part, but it is realistic too. Transformative communication. Transformative to both parties. Transformative meaning it produces a change in the adolescents and also in me. Not because I'm helper, I know everything, but every time I help someone, I learn something new. So I'm not going with the idea that I know more than you. No, I'm going with the idea I am walking with you. And this is one of the concepts that was shared last session. Communication that begins with seeing one another as created in the image of God. So why is this important? Because again, I'm pushing towards shifting the eyes from the behavior, from the troubled behavior towards the essence of the person, essence of the human being. A lot of the time we focus on the behavior of people. This is a good guy, this is a bad guy, good girl, bad girl. How did we come up with this classification? What do we use? Behavior, how people behave, correct? Is this the right assessment? When I'm doing this assessment, I have completely missed significant component that this person is the image and likeness of God. And this is very significant and important when I'm approaching to help someone to have this clearly in my mind. Yes, on the being the image and likeness of God. I forget what I just said.
I think we said that when we are talking to them, we are not just looking into their behavior.
Yes.
If you would explain more.
Yes. We have a tendency as human beings to assess other human beings based on what? Their actions. And is this a complete assessment? It's not a complete assessment. What am I missing? What else do I need to look for? Underlying reasons why this behavior is manifesting. Very good. Yes. 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 When Jesus went into the house of Zacchaeus, why were the people upset? He's a sinner, so they judged him based on his action and his behavior. What do you remember? What was Jesus's response? I came for the sick. And he is also a son of Abraham. Meaning, don't forget that he is your family. Don't forget, and the son of Abraham, meaning the son of Adam. The son of Adam, meaning the son of God. So Jesus is helping us to see one another not just as behaviors, because it's easy to look at behavior. This is a troubled person. But when I do this, what do I know about the circumstances that this person went through that led him or her to manifest those behaviors? Probably I know nothing. If I judge quickly, probably I know nothing. But if I said I don't know, maybe if I was in this person's shoes, maybe I would have been acting in a worse way. So what am I doing here when I'm thinking this way? I'm shifting my thinking from the behavior only to circumstances. And even more importantly than the circumstances is the essence of the person. Who is this person? How does God look to this person? And to understand this, I have to remember the last part of our session when we talked about the qualities of a counselor, to be connected with God. I cannot see the person essence clearly unless I am connected with God, because this is part of my essence. If I'm not connected with God, I'm not going to see through God's lens. So being a Christian helper, I need to see through God's lens, Christ's lens. And God sent us our Lord Jesus Christ, and he has manifested to us how to look to humanity, to human beings, that they are the image and likeness of God. Does this help? Thank you. So it's a communication to seek to connect deeply with the person. So when I sit with a person who has, as someone says, maybe the parents or maybe the other servants say, this person has troubled behavior. I'm not sitting to correct the person, but I'm sitting to understand the person, identify where they are coming from. Jesus, when he met Zacchaeus, he did not judge him. He said, you're a greedy man. You're one greedy man, Zacchaeus. You need to change. He said nothing. He just went and he loved him. The rich young ruler, he didn't say, you're one stubborn, you're one prideful person. You do not want to take an advice. But he loved him. When he met the Samaritan woman, and so on, and so on, and so on. So we're connecting. So this is the essence of our helping. We're connecting to understand. It's a communication that sits with rather than above the person. I'm not better than you, but I'm sitting with you to understand. It's a communication that challenges in love towards spiritual maturity. And this is the skills that we're going to be talking about. It's a communication that demonstrates the presence and the power of the Word of God to bring hope and glory to God. A lot of the time we use the power of God to judge and convict others. God says, do not lie, and you're a liar. This is the Word of God. No liars go to the kingdom of heaven. Watch out. This is a use of the Word of God. But God said also, I did not come to the healthy, I came to the sick. What does this bring? Hope. It brings hope. It brings hope, and this hope leads to God's glory. Because who brings the hope and who transforms and who changes from one path to another? It is God, and this is God's glory. Yes.
What is the most inconsistency? So
Inconsistencies with
words or actions, and how can like using this sort of confrontation?
that's what we're getting into later. So this is what we're going into later on. So, but this is the concept that we have. This is the foundational concepts, and then we're going to be talking about the skills. And the goal is, so my goal, based on the concepts that we set, my goal, I have to have the clear goal. Concepts leads to goal. I have it in my mind when I am using the skills. My goal is to provide to this person an encounter with God. What does it mean? I have to be in the presence of God, and when I meet someone, I have to meet this person with God. Okay? So God is the one in the presence. God is using me. So I have to be a tool in the hands of God. My life and my path needs to be in this process of wholeness, of working with God, of being a vessel in God's hands. God uses me to be able to reach to others as well. So the first skill, we call them micro skill. These are not the only skill. There are lots of skills. For the sake of our course and time, we're going to be covering basic skills, but effective skills. Basic but effective skills. So there are skills that are not completely covered in this. First skill, which is very significant, this is foundation. We call it micro or foundational skills. Attending. What does attending mean? Attending means it's paying attention to what the other person is saying. Do you think this is an easy skill or a difficult skill? Very difficult. Why is it very difficult? Exactly. I have my own background, and the other person have a different background. Why else? Yes. Perfect. So when I'm listening to respond, what is happening to my brain? Yes. Probably 80% of my brain is with how am I going to respond to this? And 20% or even 0% is listening. So I'm going to miss a lot of the things. I'm sure it has happened to all of us. It happens to me, especially with my kids, that we're in a conversation. They say something, but I respond with something. You didn't listen to what I said. Say what I said. I said this and this and this. Oh, yeah, I missed it. Because maybe I was thinking something else. I was thinking how to respond to something that they said or something that I had in my mind. So when I'm thinking with to rebuttal, to respond, I miss the point. And this is the significance of I am not sitting to solve a problem. I'm sitting to listen, to understand to this person. It is actively being present with the other person. Guess I should have not showed you this. So you have seen it. Okay. So communication is composed of three components. Three components. What are they? What are the components? Verbal is one of them. Easy, come on, chief. Yes, that's attending. That's attending. But in my communication with you, how do I communicate? What are the components that I use? Which is the verbal. Very good. What else are you listening to? Tone of voice. And what else? Body language, right? Body language. The significance of the verbal component is 7%. I'm talking about when someone listens to me. So probably out of what I get, 7%. But what else is there? Tone of voice. How much is on the tone of voice and how much percentage on the body language? Which is higher, body language or tone of voice? Body language. What I do. So how am I with you speaks a lot to the person. My tone of voice, second, and then my verbal. So a lot of time when I'm thinking about how to rebuttal, I'm thinking about the 7%. And I'm forgetting about the rest, the 97%. So I'm talking this about so that I do not focus, because a lot of time we focus on what we are going to say. What you're going to say back to the person counts only for 7%. But I need to listen to what the person says, I would say 80%, and also consider the tone of voice of the person and the body language of the person. Some people might be sitting in an agitated way. I'm not going to judge them, but I want to understand. Or could be speaking about a problem, about a trauma. One time I was sitting with someone speaking about significant trauma. The person is very calm and cool. How come? One of the things that I asked, how come you're speaking about horrible trauma that happened to you, but you're speaking in a very soft tone of voice, not disturbed, calm, and quiet? How are you doing this? And I discovered there are two reasons through our communication that he has been bottling everything inside of him. So when things are bottled inside, I contain what is outside, but what's inside is a lot of hurt. And another part that was significant, that this person worked with God, spiritually worked with God, and he has achieved some improvement. So some was done through his spiritual path, and some through he got used to bottling everything inside. Doesn't mean that things have been resolved. So it needs to be talked over, and the person needs to get their experiences out. So just an example of the communication, how to assess when I am listening, I need to pay attention. I'm going to be talking about how do I do attending. Yes.
Because the person we are conveying, they get affected by how our body is.
Yes. Yes.
Not from our side.
From my side towards the other person, and I observe to see what is being communicated to me as well. So it's both ways. I need to be aware about my presence with the person and the person's presence with me. Mm-hmm. Wendy, sorry.
Like if we need to connect with them, we need to connect with them on an emotional level or a logical level.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
My words, but it was like something I got the concept out of it. Like they are so emotional, they feel more than we can actually relate to.
This is their nature. Yes. Yes.
So when I connect this information with the percentage here, if they are like more emotional in some situations, I think the first thing they can affect them to open up or not is our voice of
Tone of voice, yes.
yeah, that might be even more than how our language, body language.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. So I watch, I combine everything. So what you talk about is integrating everything that we have learned to see how can I make a use of them to be an effective tool in the hands of God by making sure observing my tone of voice, my gestures, and my language. Yes.
What does this mean? It goes more towards the logical side of thinking than
For who?
like of a person. Like if I will notice someone's body language, my brain works logically more than emotionally.
Yes. So for me, as a helper, I need to more logical, not emotional. As a helper, I need to be emotionally grounded, not reactive. It does not mean I feel nothing, but it means I am grounded in a balanced way so that I am not all over the place. If my emotions are all over the place, then my thinking is going to be kind of drowning. And I need to have the proper cognition to be able to help someone. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Would it be a good practice if I warn myself before getting into a discussion with any person that watch your body language and the other person body language? I mean, be alert about this because I feel sometimes when we get into the discussion, we jump into conclusions very fast. Would it be better if I warn myself before going into that?
I warn myself by saying what to myself? Watch.
Your body language,
Yes.
watch the other person body
Yes.
language.
Yes.
I think I tell myself with what word?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is to tell myself, number one, I am here as an instrument in God's hand. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to use the gifts that God has given me. The knowledge that we are getting is a gift from God. All this is science, but it is a gift from God. So I use it towards God's glory. So I remind myself when I'm going to sit with someone, I need to consider, I need to pay attention to what they say, how they behave, to their tone of voice, and how they are sitting with me. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Attending. There's an acronym for to practice this skill of attending, meaning an attending is paying attention and showing the person I am with you in this. And as mentioned, solar means sit squarely. Sit squarely. What does sit squarely with square mean? Now I'm sitting square with you. But now I'm just giving you my sight. So what message are you getting? If I'm not really, if there is nothing here, but I sit with you, I'm giving you the shoulder, right? I'm giving you half of my attention, maybe, okay? Because this is an encounter where we are, it's one-on-one, and we're trying to pay attention to one another with open posture. What is a closed posture? Yes, this is closed. This is that's bad, but this is closed, meaning there is something for whatever reason that is making me blocked shway, a little bit blocked or not ready or something. There is a blockage. Okay, we're gonna see this. And leaning forward. Leaning forward, I'm interested. Leaning backwards, let's finish quickly. uh, eye contact. Maintaining good eye contact with the person, of course, within reason, so that the person does not feel, and of course, this might involve some cultural aspects. So I'm not just gonna, but most of the but at least I am maintaining eye contact. And what breaks the eye contact? Phone, yes, distractions, right? Uh, in a relaxed way. In a relaxed way. Of course, this might be a little bit subjective, but I try to maintain a posture that is relaxed. How can I help myself to be in a relaxed way? If I am helper, does this mean I'm not going to feel tense? I might feel tense. So how can I relax myself? Deep breathing. Quick win. I can do this without anyone noticing that right now because all of you are focused on me. So you notice. But there are times that I've done deep breathing, probably no one noticed. Right? So I'm just sitting here and of course I'm making it intentionally loud. Okay? But this is basically deep breathing. I'll take a breath in 4, keep it in 4, out in 4, and maintain it out in 4, and repeat a couple of times, 3 times, 4 times. So this helps me relax in a relaxed. So solar, this teaches or this indicates the person I am attending to you, sitting square, with open posture, leaning forward, maintaining good eye contact, and in a relaxed way. And of course, the regular nodding, yes, yes, I am with you. And then there needs to be a time that we're going to be doing active listening. So the first micro skill is attending. I have to watch how I sit with the person. Square, relaxed, open, and maintaining good eye contact. And then now I'm listening. Now I'm showing. So this is one step. This is one skill. And this is the one skill that we're going to be using in our role play. So here's a tip for the end of the day, okay? The second thing is active listening. What is active listening? Active listening is the ability to understand the message being communicated and reflecting it back. So it's a 2 steps. I receive and I show you that I understand. Okay? So I listen with attention, trying to focus, no distraction, no rebuttaling, no preparation of what am I going to say. And after I hear some of what you said, I will reflect back to you. I will show you how is my understanding so that the adolescent would say yes or no or correct what is happening. So we use encouragers, yes, nodding. And at the same time, I will have a skill which is paraphrasing, but I avoid obstacles. I try to, there are obstacles to active listening. One of them is the rebuttaling. One of them is what are other aspects of obstacle? What are obstacles for active listening? Rebuttaling and work with me. Interruptions. Yes, if I interrupt the person. What else? Or I am interrupted. Sorry, not sorry, I'm not. If I am interrupted. Yes, yes. No, if I'm interrupted by phone call. Yes. There are times when I might need to interrupt the person to pause them. That's a different story. So yes. Distractions. Distraction. And distractions does not have to do with what maybe I'm distracted with what I'm going to be doing after or what has happened before I come here. What else? There is another. Have you heard about selective listening? What is selective listening? The person talks 10 sentences and my brain just focuses on 2 because they have a certain, for whatever reason, this catches my attention. But in this process, I have missed 10 other sentences or 10 maybe other or 8 other concepts or 8 other sentences that the person has used to express their own issue or feeling or and so forth. Yes. Rebuttaling, which is being busy. How am I going to respond? How to rebuttal your argument? How to rebuttal what you just said? How to think about what am I going to say? My response. So distracted internally or externally, selective listening, dismissive listening. Oh, this is not important. So in my mind, maybe I don't say it, but maybe someone says story, and in the story something happens, and in my judgment, I say, no, this is not important. But who am I to say so? Let's have some fun.
Father,
Yes.
you were counselor. How would you control your emotions? Sometimes the word of God is so sweet that you try to use that word of God, and sometimes it gets in your heart, and sometimes you get too emotional. How would you control that as a counselor, as a leader?
Practice.
As a servant?
Yes. It's not easy. This is one of the challenges, of course, and this is the role of practicing. So number one, being aware that I have been emotionally activated one way or another, and so being aware about myself. One of the things that we talked about last time is self-awareness about myself. Self-awareness is I am aware about myself, my thoughts, my feelings, my triggers, my strength, my limitations. Because being aware, I'm going to be proactively training myself, preparing myself. When I'm going to the session, I know I might forget something, so I write some notes. I need to consider the person's tone of voice or themes that they're talking about. I write, I'm going to get reactive to a certain concept or to a certain sentences or certain words. I'm going to be aware about them and say to myself, what am I going to do? Maybe I'm going to breathe. Maybe I'm going to remind myself, well, it doesn't really matter what they say. It doesn't really matter what really they did, because I'm not judging how horrible, how good, how sweet, how bad. I'm just here to help. So I use my mind, the ability of my thinking to regulate my emotions. Yes.
Sometimes we are rushing to speak because we are emotional or whatever reason. I could kind of help them and they can go down and forget, or if they give me multiple points, every point is a different story. Like you know how we distract you, like can we stop them and say, okay, can we stop in this point and discuss it first and then or that's really
Definitely, I can do this. And this is another skill that is called slowing down the conversation. It needs to be done in a way that is showing the person that I need. So it's I have a problem, or you know what, I understand. Maybe I can use, or maybe this is another skill that we could come to it later, which is kind of empathy, meaning the person is want to share a lot of things all the time in one shot. So I say, I understand that you have a lot of points that you want to say, but do you mind, for my own clarity, so that I'm able to follow with you, can we slow down? Can we focus? You know what, you don't need to rush. We are here together. So this is myself is helping. What am I helping the person do? Regulate. calm down. Say, you know what, it's okay. I'm sitting with you. And sometimes I need to say, depending on the situation, what needs to be said. Sometimes people want to talk about 5 topics at the same. Say, you know what, I understand you're concerned about 5 aspects, 5 topics, but you know what, sometimes it's very difficult. Can we focus just on one so that we target one issue and then we talk about the rest later?
What about the person when we come, you know how sometimes when we are touching them so much and we start crying, you know how some people
Yes.
when talking,
Yes.
when they try to control their crying and we don't even understand what they're saying because their voice is not clear.
Yes.
For that point, I actually it's better to let him cry.
Absolutely.
Because,
Thank you very much for saying this.
like you don't understand how he overwhelms the whole.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for saying
Does
this.
that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Maybe I'm not going to understand, but I'm going to let them come. I'm going to let them finish. And then I can ask them, you know what, this seems to be like something that is very touching to you and very hurtful to you. However, I'm sorry to say I did not capture everything that you said. Do you mind slowing down and repeat some of the points because I really missed it, but I wanted to give you your space to get out your emotions. This is empathy. All of this is identifying and validating that the person is going through a lot of things. So I'm telling them empathy, and because this is one of the very challenging and difficult skills that we're going to talk about, is basically to tell them that I understand, even if I don't understand, but I understand. I don't understand exactly. I understand your feeling. And this is usually very significant than understanding the point. Does this make sense to everyone else?
Yeah, sometimes other the tears that fall out, sometimes the tears are sadness.
Yes.
Joy.
Yes.
That's why. Let
Ye-
it speak.
Yes. That's why I always make sure to have a tissue box in my office. And usually 80% of the people, not counseling, they use it. So this is also talking about, this is part of the active listening, which is called paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is part of the active listening. It's simply reflecting in your own words a short summary of what the other person has said. This can be incredibly helpful. It shows the person that you have been heard, that they have been heard, and perhaps more importantly, makes the person feel understood. Sometimes the person they can not they sometimes they usually can find solutions in 80-90%, but they just need someone to pay attention to them, to listen to what they are trying to say. So paraphrasing is basically saying what I heard you say is, and provide a summary of what they said. So this is what we're going to be doing right now. In the video, I want you to, so this is a role play between a therapist and a student. So a counselor and a student. Different scenarios. So this is fake role play, but this is part of what we're going to be doing by the end of the day today. Okay? So I want you to pay attention to the 2 skills we talked about. Number 1 is what's the first skill? Attending. So look at the attending and the cues that are there for the attending. Second thing is I want you to pay attention to the active listening. This is very good, especially for the active listening. So the person is listening and reflecting back what the person understood. Okay? I'm going to make it interactive. So I'm going to let the counselor reflect back the first understanding. Then I'm going to pause and ask you to act as a counselor and tell me how would you paraphrase this. So be ready. I'm going to put you on the spot.
I'm in a really difficult situation. It's just
Can you listen?
causing conflict in all areas of my life. I live in actual conflict, but you know what I'm up against. Basically, I've been at university for 2 years, and
Power, للأسف, this is the max. I lied. I'm not gonna let him say. I'm gonna ask you. Uh, because the reason is, if you are sitting with one of the adolescents and this is what you heard, you want me to repeat it?
Yeah.
Okay. You see, you see, and it is okay. It is okay to ask the person, you know what? I think I got distracted. Do you mind? I'm sorry to say, can you please repeat? Is this something bad? No, no. It is worse to just go blindly than to ask, you know what? I'm really sorry, but I need to ask you to repeat because I got distracted with something that I have. So please excuse me. Do you mind repeating what you just said? It's okay. This is much better than to continue and try to make a guesswork. Okay, this is not a puzzle. We're trying to make guesses here. Pardon me? Yes, yes.
I'm in a really difficult situation at the moment. It's just causing conflicts in all areas of my life. I don't mean actual conflict, but
Sorry.
what I'm up against. Basically, I've been at university for 2 years, and I started going out with this white guy, and I'm actually allowed to. And if my family found out, I'd be in such big trouble.
Who would like to paraphrase? I want you. Yes, go ahead.
She's saying that she's in a difficult situation. She's been at university for 2 years. She started seeing a white guy. There seems to be like a cultural situation going on. And her parents found out she's been living a lot.
Very good. Very good. Is this, you did it in a very nice way, but what are the tricky parts about this, just these sentences? Yes, what are the tricky parts for you as a helper, as a counselor, and from what you just heard? Pardon me? Cultural, yes. Yes. Different, so different cultures. So it depends, this also is checking my views and my perspective about different cultures, about people dating people from different cultures. This could be triggered. So this is a potential trigger, right? What else? What else a potential trigger? So this is a teenager, and the counselor is kind of, say, 15 years older than the teenager, than the adolescents. What are potential triggering points? You're too young to date. So I will. The triggering point is I could be acting as a parent. Yes, this is a very a significant triggering point. I could act as parent. So in my mind, I could be triggered. If this is my child, if this is my daughter, if this is my son, I'm gonna kill them. Maybe, right? So cultural aspects are being triggered, age aspects are being triggered, value aspects are being triggered here. You see how many obstacles that could stand in the way of of active listening. So it requires a lot of practice and challenge to do it.
I think, in my opinion, on your kind of in your culture, in your kind of background to help you out. Because sometimes if you have something wrong, the other person has it, it's okay. It's not like wrong, right?
Yeah, yeah, but I'm gonna postpone this area for now. But yes, you're right. I want you to listen to, because he paraphrase it in a very beautiful way.
The worst thing about it is,
You see did you notice her response? Did you observe her response? What did she say? Yes, and this is very significant. This is very important response. Yes, meaning she validates the summary. So what the counselor said, yes, and now she's continuing. Yes.
Didn't the video make an assumption that you get in trouble? What if the concern, for example, is that they wouldn't?
No, she said I'm gonna get in trouble.
I wasn't actually.
Okay. You see?
just last week, I had to go back home. We had this family thing, and they didn't tell me, but when I got back, they'd actually arranged me to get married to. And
Would like to paraphrase. Okay, I'm gonna see if there is. I'm not sure if there is a way.
I have one quick question. Do you have, I'm not sure if you ever use VLC player? It's like a way to play videos, another app. Boost the volume. I'm not sure.
Because the problem here is I'm getting the volume from the projector. So I'm trying to see if there is. I can try it from the MacBook, and you tell me.
Making noise.
So let's give this a. You tell me.
back, they'd actually arranged for me to meet this person.
This is better. Okay, but it would require us to maintain quiet as well. I apologize for this.
Going out with this white guy, and if your parents found out, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah, and the worst thing about it is, just last week, I had to go back home. We had this family thing, and they didn't tell me, but when I got back, they'd actually arranged for me to meet this person that they'd ideally like me to get married to, and that was really, really tough.
So you came.
Mm-hmm. Would like to paraphrase. Yes, go ahead. Let me. You're doing good. You're doing good. I'm just gonna ask you to do something different. You're talking to the person, not talking to me. You're not describing to me. Assume you're talking to the person. What are you gonna say to them? So the pronouns part, yes.
Surprise you by telling you they find someone that they find suitable to you, that their ideologies,
Mm-hmm.
and that they think would be a good match. And when you heard that, you were shocked because one, you were surprised by that happening, and like you also know that what you have with your white friend or what boyfriend is so long at the same time, so you're emotionally struck.
Yes, very nice. Probably you're ahead of the game here.
Back, and they actually arranged for you to meet someone. And that was really quite tough.
Yeah, really tough. I mean, it's so hard because it brings up such conflicting feelings, because I feel like I need to be loyal to my family, but in being loyal to them, I'm denying my own self-happiness, and I feel really trapped in it all.
So on one,
Would like to paraphrase. You have this is part of the training. You feel you're talking to her.
So you feel kind of emotional stuff, being like respecting the family and showing consideration to them, and as well you remind yourself from what you really want, which is like pursuing the relationship with the right.
Very good, very good. What is the feeling that she used? Conflicting. What else? What's another word that she used? Trapped. Yes. She feels conflicted and trapped. Why those are important to reflect back? Number one, because these are feeling words that she said. That's number one. And the nature of a conflict, or sorry, the nature of a conflict and a trap, that it has two sides, right? And it is significant to reflect it as two sides. So because part of the active listening and paraphrasing is doing what? Is reflecting, is like a mirror. Is like a mirror. And why do you use the mirror for? What do you use the mirror for? Reflection, to see what needs to be seen and corrected and changed. Yes, I'm good this way. This needs to change. This needs to change. This piece of hair, this earring, this whatever, and so forth, right? So paraphrasing, acting like a mirror to the person, because being in the mind space, not everyone are able to sort out things in their mind space. So they might need another medium, which is, that's why seeking a helper to reflect back, and this helps the person make sense of their decision or what they want to do next. It is like I call it the McDonald's drive-through system. When you make an order at McDonald's, what happens after you make your order? They repeat it back to make sure that this is exactly what you asked for. If it is not, you have to correct it. You need to correct it. Imagine you don't have a screen and the person does not reflect back and you get a wrong order. How would you feel? Yes, I would feel upset, right? So it's exactly the same thing. So by reflecting this back, the person is able to see their own life situations and maybe take an active role in deciding what to do next. And that's why the helping is not in the providing of the solution, but the helping in terms of reflecting the person, acting like a mirror initially, and the person see what they need to do. If it gets complicated, now we go into problem solution. But we need to start where empowering the person to choose, to see, and to choose what they want to do with their life. Make sense?
To feel loyal to your family. On the other hand, you want to feel loyal, but you also feel trapped
Yeah,
with the situation.
yeah, trapped and actually quite sad because I mean, I don't even know if I really want to be with this guy, but surely that should be my choice. And it makes me, yeah, I just feel really sad. And it's so frustrating because I don't have the freedom to do what I want. And I don't feel like any other people who are my age have this problem.
It feels
Now it's getting interesting. We like to paraphrase. Go ahead. Go ahead, Fog.
So they say that she feels sad,
Mm-hmm.
that she can't do her choice.
Yes.
And sounds very like she's falling in love with this guy.
Is she?
But the way you said that she can't do what she wants to do, her choice, seems like what she's gonna do now.
Yes. So she is kind of It's about the freedom of choice for her. This is making her sad. Very good. Yes. Can you paraphrase it as you're talking to her? Yes. Yes. Yes.
Um, I don't know if I'm gonna end up with this guy.
Yes. Yes.
Making an assumption that she's falling in love with him would be.
Yes. 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 She didn't say I'm falling in love. She said I don't know if I love him. Yes. So how would you paraphrase this? Yeah. Yeah. No, just the last sentence. It's building blocks.
You don't really know how to handle the situation that you're currently in, and frustrating you, and communicate that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
She's also told that she's the only one going through that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Whether she's or not, she's isolating herself and letting herself like forward. I'm the only one who knows how to deal with it and make it understand.
Yes. Yes. And this is making her feel upset and frustrated. Frustrated. The two feeling words that she used, sad, and then escalated to frustrated. Sad is a little bit upset. Frustrated is more. So you see the intensity of the words, and she's frustrated. What is her main concern right now? What is her main concern? Is this her main concern?
That's surely that's their choice, not the
So she's concerned because she feels she does not have a say. The freedom of choice is kind of taken away from her. So while she is still has not made, so while you have not yet made a decision whom you're gonna spend the rest of your life with, but you also want to have an ability to make this choice and not to be forced by anyone, even your parents. Make sense?
That isn't frustrated. You only have a choice that's your own.
Yeah, and that's really hard for me. It puts pressure on something that just should be, kind of a bit of fun. It makes it really serious and quite negative.
So this is role number one. So this is the second role. We're continuing. We're gonna do the second and then move on. Okay. So this is I cannot afford to leave home. This is kind of the theme of the scenario that she is going to be talking about. Yes. We're actually doing this to show them that we get them.
But I don't know why it came to my mind. It's like I imagine myself speaking with someone and he just like trying to relate what I'm saying. It's good, but I feel like some factor is missing that we don't actually like really comprehend and feel what I'm saying. We are just like conflicting my own words. It can cause a doubt in my heart that we actually feel what I'm saying.
No, that's not true. Because here we're hearing the good interpretation, the good paraphrasing. If I make a paraphrasing that does not match, the person needs to correct my understanding. So if I, for example, say, so you are in love with this person and you want to continue with this person, no, I'm not in love with this person, they would correct me and I would have the proper understanding. If I do not say this and I assume that they are in love, assume that they want to marry the person that the parents are getting them, I will be missing the point. So I'm silently, the person might silently assume that I understand, but actually I do not understand. And that's going to be revealed whenever there is a discussion about a point. So here is more accurate connection, more genuine connection. And it's not repeating verbatim, word to word. It is focusing on the key feelings, key concept behind the feelings. So it's a summary. It does not have to be verbatim, but when it comes to the feeling, this needs to be verbatim. I use their own feeling. If I use a different feeling, I have to be very cautious.
So I'm having quite a few issues at the moment with my family. I'm finding that we're not getting on very well, and I'm not really sure what it's about, although I know that there's a cause to the problem, which is that I'm living at home at the moment out of financial necessity, and it's quite difficult for me because I have to be there, but I don't want to be there, and it's doing a lot of things for me.
What do you notice here? Again, what is our role? What is our role watching this video? Paraphrase, active listening, observe what is happening. Imagine you are the one sitting and doing the paraphrasing. What's the first thing that hopefully caught your attention, that caught my attention? Pardon me? He said, okay, what does this okay means? It means give me space to reflect back to you. Because if you notice, she gave a lot of information. In just few sentences, she gave a lot of information. And he wants to, as what we talked about at the beginning, kind of regulate the information so that I'm able to join the person who says, okay, and then he's about to say, meaning, give me a chance to show you my understanding to see if I get it or not. So this is the first thing. And how would you paraphrase what was said? Yes.
So what based on what you said is that you have a lot of issues with your family where you don't feel comfortable and you feel like you want to leave and you want to go somewhere else. Like you feel like because you're staying with them, that's causing more issues, and you want to consider going somewhere else, but you're not financially able to, because that's a part of the problem that's not allowing you to leave, and because that could resolve it, but it's not allowing you to.
Very good. I like how you started. Is what I heard you said, what my understanding is, and then you're giving her your understanding. And this is my understanding, and this is a space for the person to say yes or correct. Any other attempts? Any other attempts? This was good, but I want other people to participate as well. I'm gonna go from one table to another. I want someone from this table. They have picked you. They have picked you. Sure.
It's hard because, like, we talk through so many things in between.
Sure. So you're telling me I'm distracting you. Okay.
So I'm having quite a few issues at the moment with my family. I'm finding that we're not getting on very well, and I'm not really sure what it's about, although I know that there's a cause to the problem, which is that I'm living at home at the moment out of financial necessity, and it's quite difficult for me because I have to be there, but I don't want to be there, and it's doing a lot of things for me.
What do you think?
So basically, what I understood from the situation
So what I hear you say, you're talking to the person. What I hear you say is,
you feel that you're stuck in a house that you don't really want to be there, and you can't really get out of it because you're financially stuck. And you just what I see is that you feel like locked in.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So you've repeated stuck couple of times, right? What did she say about the which is similar? But do you remember what's the exact word that she used for financial? قولوا أي حاجة يا جماعة يعني. It's financial constraint or out of financial necessity that she is. It's a kind of stuck. It would be helpful to use the words that she said. It's very good, very good. Thank you. Anyone else would like to give it a try? Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. And couple of things. Does she know or not know the reason for the problem? Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think she said something that she doesn't know why she doesn't know.
Yeah. She said, I don't get along with the family. I have issues with my family. And one of the reasons is I have to live there while I need to move out.
She doesn't know why.
Yeah. We'll continue and build up on this. Okay, let's continue and build up on this. So let's listen to what he says.
You're not sure what they're about.
Because I have to be there, but I don't want to be there, and it feels a lot of things for me.
But you think that you're having some problems with your family. You're not sure what they're about, and they might be somehow related to finance situations. That I'm having to live at home. It's very difficult for young people at the moment. I don't think a lot.
So if you notice, he said similar to what you said, but I noticed some hesitation in her yes. Correct? Because I think she said one of the concern is she knows that the financial constraint is part of the reason she wants to go out, but she cannot. She's living out of necessities, and then she's continuing. So she found like he hit on the financial aspects, and these are some of the cues. So there is a difference between a yes and yes and thinking. So this is for me, make me pay attention to what she's saying, or maybe ask, did I get this right, or do you want to correct me? It's okay to ask. It's not about getting it right. It is about connecting with the person and showing the person I am with you and I want to understand you.
That I'm having to live at home. It's very difficult for young people at the moment. I don't think a lot of people can afford, definitely can't afford to buy a house, or can't afford the mortgage, or can't afford even rent. And it's quite quite, you know, high outgoings.
Wonder how you feel about that.
Do you notice what happened here?
Yeah.
What do you feel about that?
Yes, it's the first time he asked a question. Why did he ask a question? And the question of why did he ask the question? Yes. There, which she's talking about in a general, and did she mention any feeling? No. So what we're trying to listen for, three things. What are the three things we're trying to listen to look for in what she's saying? Feelings, problem, situation, action, thoughts, feelings. Action, thoughts, feeling. What is happening? What's the action that is happening? How she thinks about it, how she feels about it. Actions, thoughts, feelings. If you remember when in last session, when we had a scenario and I told you, I want you to get me what are possible actions, thoughts, and feelings of the person. So these are the three things we are looking for to try to understand, right? So right now it's about the action is there is no particular action. She wants to go out. There are problems, arguments. She wants to go out. How she thinks about it? She thinks I am stuck. She thinks I'm constrained. She thinks I can do nothing. I can do nothing. Then how do you feel about this? So when she talked in a general way, I want to understand. And there is nothing for him to paraphrase, because what she paraphrased, what she said was not about herself. She said about in a general sense.
I feel quite frustrated and sad at times, a bit angry, trapped, like I don't know where to go, where to turn, or how to do
You
it.
feel quite angry and trapped at times. You don't know where to turn.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what direction to go into to help sort out the issues, or I don't know.
What is the sense that you're getting here right now? Pardon me? Yes, yes. Very good. What else? She seems lost. She seems confused. And when someone confused, what would be the state of the person who's listening to them? So it's okay to be confused. This is what this is one of the. It is okay to be confused. She is saying a lot of confusing things right now. So maybe there is no coherence to the essence of the problem, but it's okay. But what is he doing? He's continuing to listen, continuing to reflect and paraphrase. And why is this important? Is this helpful? Is it helpful if the person is confused? I'm confused. There are two options. I say, you know what? You're very confused. Go figure your things out and come talk with me. What have I done? I have done damage. I have done great damage. I have kind of rejected the person. It's valid to be confused. It's okay to reflect. Oh, so it seems you're going through a confusing time between arguments with your parents and financial constraint. You don't know how to sort out things. This must be very difficult for you to manage right now. So it's listening and maybe validation, even if it's for the same point. Rejecting or kind of telling the person you're very confused